Today, we're going to discuss about two terminologies. These two terminologies, they are very crucial in as far as success is concerned. And when we put them on the spectrum, you may position one on the one end while the other one can exist on the other end. Which are these two terminologies? We have optimism as well as pessimism. These are the two terminologies which we are going to discuss in our video today. My name is Chifuno Shawa and I welcome you to my YouTube channel. In my first video, I've mentioned more on what type of content that I'll be posting. In a nutshell, I'll be posting more on personal development. And if you find this video resonating with yourself, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel, as well as you turn on the notification bell so that you cannot miss out for the next videos. Let us look into the definitions of our two terminologies. Kodi tikamanena kuti pessimism ndi chani, komanso tikamanena kuti optimism ndi chani? Because by the end of the day, tufuna zinthu izizi tizione kuti zimatha kupanga affect bwanji in our success. As I've said, to say one is on the other end and the other one is on the other end. These two, they are in opposite directions. And yet it is very important for you to come up with a balance between these two. In the definition about pessimism, as this is a kind of thinking whereby one expects negative things will happen. Munthu amene amapanga gravitate kapena amagwera kwambiri mbali onena kuti mukaganizidwe kake in terms of thinking amakhala zina zoti iyeyo when he wants to do something, when she wants to do something, or when you want to do something, you are always gravitated towards something negative. Optimism now is the opposite. Your kind of thinking gravitates more of a positive side. Ukafuna panga chintu, you are always sure to say ichi chienda. Now let us look into advantages as well as disadvantages of these two terminologies. Pessimism. Despite that pessimism is gravitated towards the negative side. Komano mwiti zinthu tinatake timene tikhoza kuphunziramo ndi kutitenga ndi kutipanga adopt and use them on our daily basis. So we're going to look at these things. First, we have realistic risk assessment, whereby pessimism often sees danger early. Fortunately, munthu amene ali gravitated towards pessimism amakhala ali chifupi kwambiri ndi zinthu kuziona in the wrong position. Ali able kupanga pick out zinthu zimene zili zolakwika mwachangu, and that can help because there can be real dangers. Chachiwiri ndichonena kuti a pessimistic person is able to prepare better. That is in worst scenarios, amatha kupanga plan. Because this person is able to point out mala amene ali olakwika, amatokala in a better position to prepare bwinobwino if worst scenarios can come around. Tomalizani chonena kuti a pessimistic person doesn't make decisions anyhow. This person is not reckless when it comes to decision making. Now let us look at the disadvantages of pessimism. Kodi munthu amene alionena kuti nthawi zambiri amangoganiza zinthu zolakwika zinthu zikamachitika. Kodi what are the disadvantages of this? Choyambira tili ndi what we call high stress. Nthawi zambiri amakhala goes through stress because of this. Nanga mangokhala ngoganiza kuti zinthu zilakwika. You know what it is like munthu kama when you are associated with negative thoughts. Chachuli nchonena zoti you have low motivation. How do you expect to be motivated and yet muntu you are constantly thinking of zinthu ziyenda molakwika? Chichonse chimene upange weyo umangoona ngati kuti mwina things won't end up fine. As such, umakhala zoti motivation yako ili pansi kwambiri. China we have fear of trying new things. Yeah, the same thing. Why can you start something new ukuzazina zoti pamapeto pake zinthu zichasiziyenda? You are always thinking of to say, if I start this, it won't end up good. As such, that kind of a person samayamba zinthu zina. You or should rather stick to the comfort zone pamene ali for the things that zimene amachita on a daily basis. Chomweza nchonena kuti a pessimistic person amapanga damage ma relationships anthu around. How would you want to associate with yourself with someone who is always having negative thoughts about things? Now, let us look into optimism, my advantages and my disadvantages. So, optimism, when you are a person with optimism, so much optimism, when you are on the spectrum, you are on the end of optimism. That means you experience higher motivation as well as energy. By the end of the day, it will come out. So you have that energy to say things will work out. Number two, you have better problem solving. Fortunately, when you go through challenges or problems, you don't see just them as problems, but now you look at them as challenges which you have to overcome. That means for each and every problem, you have a constant interest on how best can you work on that problem so that you can be successful. And as such, you work on your problems better. And you have confidence as well. You know that things will work out. So that energy will help you in terms of to build confidence within you to say things will work out. Whatever I've started, it will work out. Also, you have greater success in life. Zinthu zikalakwika, you are able kuzitolera mwachangu because what you are interested in is to work on those problems and see the way forward. Hence, your chances of being successful amakhala kuti ali high kwambiri despite kuti you are facing challenges. Then tuone kuipa kwa optimism. Despite optimism, it's a good energy whereby would each one of us want to have. Komano ukapanda kusambala nayo mapezeka kuti ukuononga nayo zinthu. So, what are these things which can lead to destroying of you because of optimism? You become overconfident. Since to you, when you see things, you tell yourself that things will work out. You become overconfident in such a way that you will find yourself neglecting other things or neglecting the problems that they might arise through during that whatever you are doing. Stuff we take us into the taker, and yet also so overconfidence is one of the things which destroys because of optimism. That's why in China umapanga ignore real dangers. As far as a pessimistic person is able to point out those dangers, you override them to say, yeah, those are small, right? In as far as I know myself, things work out. In the sense that you are putting yourself in danger, which maybe you could have worked on that. Mavuto, we work on problems when they are still young, rather than kwasiya kuti akule. Pachichewa pali mawu amati move oyang'anira suchidwa kulowa m'maso kupherezera zimenezo. We also have poor planning. Where would you sit down and write a detailed plan when you know that as such, you might find that your plan, it doesn't work out because you were poor in planning. You might find yourself you are taking risks without kupanga prepare. For each and every risk that can come across you, you just take it without preparing for it. Maybe you could have worked on them, or you could have assessed the risks to assess them in advance and be able to point out the problems that may arise and you work on them. Finally, what is the best approach when it comes to these two? Of course, kwambiri, we are encouraged to know kwambiri ku optimism rather than ku pessimism, ukuthi mangobwerekerabe zina ndi zina kuti zithandizire ku pessimism, ku optimism. As well as in the optimism side, there are things which are supposed to omit as well, so that the thing is to come up with a balance tikhale kuti tili pakati kati anthu fe ndi chimene chimalimbikitsidwa. So what is the best approach to this? This is what is called realistic optimism. Realistic optimism, it says that the healthiest mindset is the one which has a balance. Mind ya muntu ikhala kuti ili balanced. So how do we find this balance? First of all, you have to think positively. Zimene zikukupangisa kuti upite ku positive side of the spectrum, imene ili optimistic, which is positive thinking. And then you have what we call but plan wisely. In the sense that you are able to think positively, you have to adopt from the pessimistic side, whereby you have to plan wisely. When you combine these two, what will happen is that you hope for the best, while you will prepare for the worst. Hoping for the best is the optimistic side, and preparing for the worst, that is the pessimistic side. That means you're bringing these two together. Because when you build this mindset, what happens next is that you have confidence. And not just that confidence, you are gravitating towards into what we call grandiosity, whereby you feel that you are self-made, self-made, as if maybe you don't need other people. No. But this kind of confidence now, it is also wisdom. Confidence plus wisdom, you gain what we call emotional strength. In conclusion, pessimism protects you from disappointments but can limit your growth. Because of pessimism, yes, it's good in such a way that you should not go through through those kind of disappointments. But now when you focus on when you dwell so much on this, what happens is that you cannot grow. You are limited. You don't grow. That means in order for you to grow, to come out of that pessimistic position, you have to adopt those ideas. You have to go into towards optimistic. So, as optimism motivates you, but must be guided by wisdom. In as far as you are energized in terms of, or you are motivated towards reaching something and a goal, but you have to make sure that your motivation has to be guided by wisdom. And this kind of balance, passing those ways, is lead to the best life outcome. Izi ndi zimene mafuna tikambirane mu video imeneyi, and if there might be any questions or something to add upon, you can write something in the comments section. See you in the next one.